Hey there everyone, Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, I do bees. Welcome to Southeast Louisiana. Well folks, here we are in town again. I have finished putting supplement on all my colonies at home. Today, I got off work and I run over here, just throw some pollen subs on these. These have already got a dose of DFM this month. DFM, Super DFM, is recommended every 30 days throughout the year. I'm not going to use it during honey flow. I don't want anything in my supers during honey flow or near my supers. Of course, I would put it on the brood boxes, but even then, I don't want it in there. The research with the company has shown that they're not finding anything in the honey, the probiotic or anything. The problem is the media used to relay it to the bees is a sucrose powder. And so I don't want that in my honey. So I won't use it then, but I am going to do every 30 days up until we start supering. And these have already had it probably about 10-15 days ago when we checked the nuke. Actually, today is the 6th of February. Beautiful, beautiful day, 75 degrees, blue sky, sun shining, bees are flying. Just a beautiful day. But I didn't really come out here to show you me putting pollen subs on. But what I am going to do is take you through that little nuke, and your guess is as good as mine as to what kind of shape they're in. They did survive that polar blast, that Arctic blast, whatever they call that vortex thing. But I don't know if they're even viable. Could it be just a bunch of laying worker colony bees around? You know, that was a colony that had a drone layer, or rather a laying worker and a good queen in it. Or it was a drone layer that turned right, or a drone layer that had eggs. We don't know what's in there. All we did was see that they were alive and eating. So today I'm going to do a quick run through them. And even though it is sunny and beautiful out here, February can always fool you down here. These bees are blowing through some stores. They're starting to bring in a little bit of nectar, but we always have another freeze or two that's going to knock everything back again. So I never go into the whole early spring thing. I always roll the throttles back on that, and I wait till March before I say anything's early. And even last March got us because we had a late March freeze. So we still got a little ways to go. We're not out the woods yet when it comes to starting to put supers on, although some of the singles are going to need some space. But nah, I'm gonna go through and see what this thing holds. Back again, getting ready to start on this. Am rocking the Guardian Bee Apparel jacket that I did a quick review on. It is, man, so much better. And I have their gloves, of course. I've had their gloves. I had their gloves before I ever had a jacket. But this time I have got the short gloves. Again, I like to incorporate these reviews into my videos while I'm just working, showing you as I'm working. This is not sponsored by Guardian. I'm not an affiliate, anything like that. I like Terry and his stuff. I like their customer service. I got the short gloves, and long gloves are pretty much standard in the industry when you see protective equipment, but short gloves, there's a lot of people requesting these, and I got this piece of Velcro to tighten them up. So if they start to slip off, you can tighten that Velcro a little bit, and that takes care of it. But I'm gonna try them. They fit the same, obviously, but it's the short part, and that'll be nice because that's less covering my arms. It's also nice if I want to throw them on with a t-shirt or something. I am suited up, even though I really don't need it on the nuke, I wouldn't think. The rest of these colonies, I'm going to be opening them up, popping deeps off, maybe getting into some brood nests here and there. And you saw how my bees are this time of year. Nobody's been in there. All of a sudden now we start tearing comb apart and burr comb, things like that. They get a little irritated. That's the plan for today, is getting that nutrition on them, or rotating any boxes I need to rotate. And look, I'm pleased with what I'm seeing with a lot of the hives. They're not as strong as I'd like, but they're stronger than I thought. And they've got brood in them, and that's good. So when I'm getting 6 and 7 frames of bees, at least in one box, I'm happy with that. And really, it's going to time out pretty good for splits mid-March. So that makes me happy too, because I really don't feel like splitting at the end of February. I really don't. There's a couple of them I might, and there's some singles that need deeps on them. But nah, I'm pretty satisfied for the most part. So these gloves, I'm trying them on real quick. One thing with my long armed gloves, by the time I'm working bees all day long, they end up scrunching up down to here anyway. So these are a little more difficult to get on because you're not getting them that far up. and it likes to pull the sleeve up, but once you get them on, they seem all right. And what I did with the other ones, I just fastened that Velcro. So let's try that. We take this, throw a little tight in there, and they're down here. We'll see how they do, but I like them because they're right up on your wrists. That's pretty nice. So there you go. I'm gonna move this little frame off, and we're gonna look through them real quick. Let's just see what they're doing. Let's see if there's any size to them. Are they really viable? Because they're all spread out, but of course it's not cold, so why would they cluster? There's some super DFM that was underneath the, let's get that down on them, fondant patties. Let's see if there's any hive beetles in here. See, over here I don't have hive beetles that bad, and now you look here, I don't see the hive beetles in there. And the hive beetles will run right on that ridge right there where the bees can't get to them. The larvae will be there. None there though. So this was a honey frame I added to them. Y'all weren't with me when I did that. I added a honey frame for them. They're very flighty. I don't like that. So this queen has got super spotty brood. Might even be still. Now what we had before the season started, I just left them alone. Said, you know what? Figure it out, folks. We had normal eggs and we had multiple eggs, a lot of multiple eggs. Not a new queen type of multiple eggs, but multiple eggs like we had either a laying worker, which is what it looked like. But at one point, this thing had both regular eggs and a bunch of laying worker eggs. So yes, they may have made it, but you know what? It may not have even mattered, because that's awful, awful brood at this time of year. And yes, they made it, but oh well, kind of. There's the queen right there. So she's in there. There's a queen. And I see eggs. I see single eggs. It's a pretty poor pattern, pretty poor situation. There's our queen again. She's walking around. She's on the bottom. Let's put her back in. So I spotted my queen. I'm gonna put her back in. She's laying eggs. Single eggs. So, but you all saw the pattern. You know, that could be a lot. That could be maybe something to do with the cold that came, and it is cold in the mornings. They may not have enough to cluster around all the brood she lays, because there's not that many bees, and maybe they're getting some chilled brood and they're pulling it out. The larvae look healthy, so it's not like they look bad before they cap them, but you see what I see, and that's a poor looking colony. But hey, they lived. She's laying single eggs. I guess I'm just gonna leave her alone, see what she does. Obviously, if there was any numbers that come out of this eventually, we would definitely requeen it. But so how I feel about nurturing nukes is I don't do it. I give them the resources they need to at least try and prove themselves and see if they can do good. At that point, I don't worry about it so much anymore. As far as the genetics go, if it's a very inferior queen and she's just not cutting it and it's worth requeening, I will. But at this point, it's still nurturing. Let them get into March, see if they can grow any. But give them what they can to survive. If they can make a go of it, great. If they can't, not much else to really say. I don't nurture colonies anymore. It's not worth the time. Once, especially when we get right now, it's easy. Come look at them, throw a little bit of fondant on them, some pollen. You know, give them what they can to survive. Give them all the help they need. But once we get busy, there's no time for nurturing a nuke that's not going to be productive. Really, all you're doing at that point is just propagating drones in the area that you really don't want that mixed up into your yard. So all right, folks, very quickly, I just wanted to show you, this was that weak one we had. I gave him some super DFM. That's it, no pollen yet, but the top has got a lot of honey. Here's my queen. I went ahead and caged her, and I was in my other one on the other end as well, and it was actually bigger than this. But this is my weak one, and she's coming through good. So I pulled this out and thought I'd show you. It's about where my weak one stands. She's on the other frame is where I picked her up, and it's full of eggs on both sides. And then here's this side, just full of brood. Now we're gonna have more frosts and freezes, but they'll guard most of this and it'll come out. Now this was my weak one, and she likes to brood up when she needs to. Tells me she's pretty decent genetics. I got her from the commercial guy that Randy, the dirt rooster, deals with. But there's another nice frame. So this is the weak one, so that's a good thing. So pollen, do they need it to build up? I don't think so. I'll throw a half of it, since I brought it, I'll throw half of it on there. The top box is pretty much honey. So I'm gonna have to absolutely clear that out. Oh boy, they're coming out now. And this is what they do. This is just this time of year. They're normally not this bad, especially this one. This one I could normally go through this colony. I could probably go through just a veil during the season, but I've noticed when I start busting these things loose early on, it can get ugly. So, but I wanted to go through a couple frames, and I said, well, let me show y'all what I'm doing here. I am just feeding pollen. That's full of bee bread. Do I really need to give them pollen? Probably not. But I'll give it to them since I got it out here. It's not gonna hurt. I'm doing the same thing I did everywhere. I'll throw this pollen patty down here on the bottom and put the box on top. I'm gonna let my queen go because they're getting rowdy. Here she goes. Get on down in there, lady. Hey, you're still there. You're still part of the crowd. You were in a cage. And down she goes. And this box is every bit of 50 pounds. Make sure she can't come back up. Oh, it's 4 outside frames are full of honey. The middle frames have small areas where she's got some brood and some drone brood in, and the rest is a big giant rainbow honey. So this one we'll strip probably 6 frames of honey out in another couple weeks. Throw some empty comb in there and they'll be ready to go. But for a weak colony, they're picking up quick. And this is one last year that exploded down here at the beginning of the season. It was my very first split last year. This was the very first split I did. It was a walk away because it was so early I didn't have any queen cells. Now this is another one last year, February, when I split it. Of course, the old queen is white dot. She's over there. She's who I'm grafting from. I didn't take you through that one. But she had some nice brood in there. She's slow starting though. She's got a lot of eggs, more so than cat brood, but she looks good. She's who I'm gonna graft from this year. She's getting to be, she's a white dot queen, a white dot. I split her off of this hive last year, and this thing's, it's got a medium on top. I'm just gonna leave it. But look, they were ferocious last year. 2 full boxes of bees on this one. Let's pull up a few frames before I let y'all go and just see what's going on over here in this one. They made a box of honey, I'm pretty sure. But again, last year's flow was not the best. Getting a lot of work on today because I'm going through them a little more in depth. But I am kind of glad I'm getting an idea what's going on out here. It's good to know. Come on out of there. Yeah. Pollen frame. Ooh, they're on you guys. They're going to be on you guys. Let's give y'all some smoke. They're stinging the camera case again. That is amazing to me. Ooh, see, when you pop them frames, ooh, they don't like that. Let's see what they're doing. We got a lot of bees, but does that mean they're doing anything productive? No, they're just putting pollen in. They're definitely not getting pollen. I got to come clear pollen out of this thing. Look, another frame full of pollen. I hate it when they do that. See, now her mother don't do that. Yeah, her queen mother doesn't do that. She's a productive. So this colony is almost pollen and honey bound. Here is a frame of brood. There's drone brood, more pollen. Look at that. That's amazing. Look, another frame full of pollen. So the weight I'm feeling is pollen. I don't even see any brood yet, guys. Just some drone brood. I'm gonna go in this top box and see what we got. Maybe there's a patch of brood in the middle, or maybe she's up in that super, or maybe there's no queen at all. But there are no brood and eggs in the bottom except a little patch of drone brood. It looked like some worker brood around it, but not much. Frame of pollen, of course, and nectar. That's all brood. That's all. So they're in the second and third box. So I'm probably gonna have to just reconfigure them. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, there we go. All right, whoever I got, there's emerged brood already. So yeah, they're loaded. That's why they're loaded. Right, I'm gonna put them back. Next frame is the same. And a quick glance, and there's eggs all in this thing. Let's look in here, see if our queen has moved up into the super, and that's fine. I'm at that point. Well, oh well, this is a brood super anyway. But no, it's honey. So she's basically in one deep. She can still go down, but it's loaded with pollen. I mean, there's space down there, but we're going to have to clear that out. Yeah, the whole box, that's still goldenrod honey. You can tell by how yellow it is. So we'll leave them alone. And I'm going to make a note of what I got to do with this one. Got to reconfigure it. Well, folks, you've dealt with enough. You've got stingers all in you. I've dealt with enough. I'm actually going to take that super off. It doesn't have any brood in it. I'm going to confine her down to those two. She can still move down if she needs to. I was thinking about maybe switching them, but I'm not giving them any pollen. It's full of bee bread, so they don't need any of that right now. I don't want to speed her up any. I'll roll with the punches on her. I got to reconfigure that box. I got to clear some honey out. I need to clear some pollen out and give her some empty frames as we get toward March, so we can see what's going on. I'm gonna let them get through the freeze first. I don't see a problem with swarming at this point. I'll monitor them, of course, but hey. Anyway, well, you see the little colony. It's pretty much, I don't know what it is pretty much of. It's just pretty much a no good. But I'll let them go until March, and if they can grow any, we'll give them a queen. If not, they're probably going to get combined, and I'm going to pinch her. But we'll see. And it ain't really enough bees to combine, to be honest with you. Just shake them off in front of a hive, pinch her, shake them off, call it a day. That's all I'm doing out here. I got to finish the 6 hives up front, but I'm just goofing around, having a good day. Beautiful weather. I'm gonna let y'all go. Decided to go ahead and take you through a few hives because that got really animated. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this video. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike. I do bees. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and may God bless you. We'll see y'all later. Oh yeah, let me add, the gloves, they work out good. They don't bunch up and they keep my arm clear, so that's pretty nice. And the fit is the same as the others. I actually wear a smaller size in these gloves because the backs stretch on them. I like them a lot. They're nice. They're nice. I like them. So that's my opinion of them anyway.